Hello and welcome back to another Daily Defiant. I'm Jack, and today we're bringing you the latest developments on criminal investigations around Binance executives. A big thank you to Oasis for sponsoring today's video, more on them later. Now you might have missed this given SBF's arrest in the Bahamas, but according to an exclusive report by Reuters dated only yesterday, Binance is under investigation for unlicensed money transmission, money laundering conspiracy, and criminal sanctions violations. Prosecutors are apparently divided on how to conclude the investigation, despite some members in the Department of Justice claiming that there's already sufficient evidence to justify aggressive action against Binance. The news was followed by $1.29 billion in net outflows in only 24 hours. So who's bringing the heat? Well, not one, but three Justice Department offices are involved in building the case against Binance, and that's according to Reuters. So the inquiry involves prosecutors from the Money Laundering and Assets Recovery Section, called MLARS, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of Washington in Seattle, and the National Cryptocurrency Enforcement Team. Now, a quick side note here is that this is not the same U.S. Attorney's Office which filed for Sam Bankman-Fried's arrest yesterday. That was the SDNY, or the Southern District of New York's prosecutors. As these two stories develop, we're going to bring you all the most relevant details of both. So please subscribe to The Defiant and stay tuned for all the developments. Well, for now, we know that the potential charges are unlicensed money transmission, money laundering conspiracy, and criminal sanctions violations. The report also reminds us that this investigation began back in 2018. And since then, investigators have been focusing on Binance's compliance with US anti-money laundering laws and sanctions. What's changed since then, though, is news that Reuters have been investigating the case throughout 2022. According to interviews with a dozen people familiar with the case, their findings were rather damning. Reuters really didn't mince their words here, and I quote, "Binance kept weak anti-money laundering controls, processed over $10 billion in payments for criminals and companies seeking to evade US sanctions, and they plotted to evade regulators in the United States and elsewhere." So the main evidence at the moment appears to be the Reuters 2022 investigation report. And before we get into why this news could have wide-reaching consequences for all of us in DeFi, a quick word from Oasis. As the most trusted entry point to make a protocol, Oasis.app aims to do the same for DeFi. Now on Oasis.app, you can do more than just borrow DAI. Use Multiply to change exposure to your collateral, and earn to increase your staked ETH yield by up to 3x. Stay relaxed while Vault automations protect your positions and maximize your returns. So it's important for us to zoom out and shift our gaze back towards DeFi for a second. We know tensions are already high in the cryptosphere, so any criminal charges brought against Binance and ZAO could loosen Binance's grip on the industry, which has grown stronger since the recent collapse of FTX. It appears the story is already proving consequential, as amid the growing concerns that Binance may be struggling with similar issues to FTX, and the criminal investigation getting heated, daily withdrawal requests have skyrocketed to $1.4 billion. Binance were forced to temporarily halt withdrawals while they carry out a token swap. But why is there so much tension, you might be asking? So Binance's dominance over the cryptosphere is clear, and since they were launched in Shanghai back in 2017, they've become a giant in the space. In October alone, they processed $1.6 trillion of transactions, which is about half the entire crypto market's trading volume. For perspective, that amount dwarfs FTX, which handled only $230 billion in trades in the same month, according to Crypto Compare. Now, considering SBF's arrest in the Bahamas yesterday, following a sealed indictment coming from New York, it appears law enforcement aren't exactly dragging their feet on crypto clampdowns. And on that note, amidst the growing number of withdrawals from Binance, Crypto Twitter was quick to draw some parallels between CZ's tweets this morning, which aimed to calm the waters, and some FTX tweets from earlier this year. But in response to this week's developments, Binance's global head of intelligence and investigations, Tigran Gambaryan, published an article yesterday on the website. While updating readers on the company's achievements, he also made some bold statements, and he went as far as speculating that Binance has the strongest and most robust security and investigations team in the entire financial sector. He went on to lay out some reasons why Binance's world-class team are uniquely positioned to fight cybercrime, not because the company stands to profit, but in his words, because it's the right thing to do. So the official Binance position is that they're helping to train global law enforcement and building forward to help advance the global fight against cybercrime. Among Binance's other arguments for why they shouldn't be prosecuted is that a criminal prosecution would wreak havoc on a crypto market already in a prolonged downturn. So we're faced with some difficult questions with many potential answers for all of us in the DeFi space to consider. What sort of message would a settlement send the rest of the finance sector? And would a criminal prosecution, as suggested by the Binance top brass, further destabilize the industry, or is punitive action perhaps a step in the right direction? Let us know what your thoughts are below, and as always, thank you for tuning into the Daily Defiant. See you again tomorrow.